All right, special treat today. It's a Freaky Friday, but we are damn lucky today because we have New York City Councilman Joe Borelli joining us today. Joe, thanks for joining us on Liquid Lunch again.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know, before we get in, we're here to talk about, and we're giving away 10 copies of Joe's book, Revolutionary Staten Island, just released. He's got the Sharpie with him. He's going to sign them, too. The contest is this. You got to go on the Facebook and leave a comment, I want Joe's book. And if there's more than 10 of you who want Joe's book, we're going to raffle them off and choose them randomly towards the end of the show today. But Joe, before we get into all the great things about Staten Island that you uncover and reveal and make awareness about, because people think it's just about muscleheads that go on reality shows.
That's only chapter 5. That's only.
But you were kind enough to join us at, a peaceful protest against the mayor's overreach here at the tanning salon. And I don't know if you saw the other day, but they opened the tanning salon, of course. But now Lou Gelomino and Mark Fonte got that fine even dismissed. So turns out that we actually did something good.
Yeah, we know we did.
I mean, and it didn't cost anybody anything. And I hope others out there will continue to stand up and put together peaceful protests to make sure that restaurants are allowed to open, because I don't even still believe them now, Joe.
Look, the mayor, as we speak, made an announcement, and 9/10 of every interview I do is bashing the mayor, but today he actually said we're going to allow outdoor dining, allow them to enclose the outdoor spaces, allow outdoor heaters. So that's some progress, some good news, thankfully, for so many restaurateurs who've been just getting the shaft for too long.
So that was one thing I was worried about, that they're going to say, okay, you could open up 25% inside, but you don't have the outdoor dining anymore. And that would literally crush people. I know guys who have restaurants that have beautiful amounts of outdoor space. They actually have more seats now than they have inside.
Look, the silliest thing was not allowing heaters that you could buy at Home Depot. You could buy these heaters at Home Depot, Lowe's. They were propane heaters. They work all around the world. I was in Poland in January this year, freezing cold Poland, Krakow, Poland, sitting outside in the main square because we had one of these beautiful propane outdoor heaters that were keeping myself and the rest of the patrons warm. We can do that here.
So is this some news I don't know about? If the propane heaters are allowed again? Or?
The mayor's making an announcement as we speak. He said heaters are allowed. We'll find out the exact details, but I have to imagine he means the propane because the natural gas ones, the electric ones, were already allowed.
So you're the chair, I believe, of New York State for the Trump campaign committee?
Yes, sir.
Right? I know there are some loonies out there saying, we're going to take New York State. I know that's not a reasonable goal, right? But the goal that you guys must be going after is to make sure no one takes this election for granted, right? And votes.
Look, there's a lot we can do as New Yorkers to make sure not only the president gets reelected, but make sure that he gets a winning House of Representatives to go along with him. There's about 3 or 4 congressional seats right here in New York State that are the top 20, 25 seats in the country. Obviously, where we're sitting right now, New York 11 is one of the most competitive seats in the country. It's one where we hope to have a Republican in office. And, I mean, if you're a Staten Islander, though, you could actually go an hour away to some counties, Bucks County, Chatham County, I think, Westmoreland County in Pennsylvania, right over the Delaware Water Gap, an hour away, and you can get involved with some great races in one of the most important swing states.
Well, look, Joe was one of the guys who was riding a New York horse for Trump last time.
Yep.
And while we didn't win New York, we did win. And I think our race here is one of the big races, especially, for the Democrats nationally and the Republicans nationally, because our seat in Staten Island and Brooklyn was typically held by a Republican for a while.
It was. I mean, it's been historically a Republican seat for at least the past 25 years. Obviously, your friend and my friend Vito Fossella was the congressman for many years. Before that was Guy Molinari, another Republican. So, I mean, it's been mostly a Republican seat, but what Democrats see on the horizon is redistricting in 2022. And they know just by sheer numbers that when New York loses a congressional seat, if not 2, we'll end up going further into Brooklyn. And then that might be a problem for who's ever holding the seat.
So incumbents win like 85% of the time. So it would be good to have an incumbent in there before they do this crazy redistricting. So where did it all begin, Joe? You wrote this book, Revolutionary Staten Island. I just got 10 copies because I want many people to know all the great things about Staten Island, and we're going to give them away today. But before getting into what's in it, what made you want to write a historical book about Staten Island.
Well, I'm a historian, so I have my master's degree in history, so it's been something that I've been interested in a long time. And one of my first jobs right after college, while I was still studying, was at Casey Funeral Home, a big prominent funeral home here on Staten Island. And in the basement of the funeral home, they had a copy of these historical books on the history of Staten Island. And I just got into it. I got a kick out of it. And my goal was really to rewrite these 120-year-old histories for a modern audience, and respective of some of the new research that's been out there about colonial times in America.
Yeah, I think, we were joking around about it a little earlier in the segment, but I think that a lot of people just judge Staten Island, oh, that's a bunch of goombas that you see on reality TV, and when there's a perp walk, there's a bunch of guys in a sweatsuit, and that's like the only thing people think Staten Island is. And there is actually a lot of rich history going all the way back to the Revolution in Staten Island.
I mean, there's so much. I can go off your back deck, here, and talk to you about the 25 things that we could see just within eyesight that were historic over the past 20 years. I mean, this is an island that was one of the longest settled counties in the United States of America. It was the longest occupied county during the American Revolution. People don't realize that. The Arthur Kill and the Kill Van Kull, the area that separates us from New Jersey, was the front line of the American Revolution for about 7 years. So, I mean, there was battles, skirmishes, spies, and everything in between. It was an exciting time.
So there's a lot of American Indian heritage here on Staten Island also that you get in on the book. Joe Borelli's going to stick with us. We're going to do a whole nother segment. We're going to find out the little snippets and whet your appetite, but you got to go out to Amazon and other places and get Revolutionary Staten Island, okay? And if you're watching, you should leave a comment, I want Joe's book, because you will get a signed copy after today. Joe, any thoughts? We're going to come back and do a whole nother segment on the book, but on our last minute here, any thoughts on the Supreme Court pick tomorrow?
I think it will be Amy Coney Barrett. I think she's the strongest pick. I think she is the safest pick, and I think the Democrats will have the hardest time downplaying her qualifications. And I mean, you're already seeing the anti-popish plots. People calling her Catholic. She's part of some cult. It's just crazy. They're only saying that because they have nothing else.
Do you think that Mitt Romney, I was really shocked because he's been like, one of the, eternal defectors against Trump. I was kind of shocked that he came right out and said that he would support a vote on it. You think that comes down to that he's a Mormon, his religious faith?
Yeah, he's got accountability too. He's got voters, he's got constituents, and they know that she can make changes to abortion law and a lot of laws regarding religion, and they won't forgive him if he votes against that.
That's what I thought. I thought this was probably his most strategic political decision because he's got a constituency back in Utah that's saying, hey, we want pro-life.
Not because he likes Trump.
No, that's not because he likes Trump. All right, well, you're going to like what you hear right here because we're going to get into some of the fun facts in Revolutionary Staten Island, Joe Borelli's new book. You're watching Liquid Lunch, but do not go anywhere. Mix up a cold drink, come on back. We're going to talk about the great things about Staten Island.